Welcome to another episode of the Mixtape Matinee Podcast. I'm your host, Cole.
And I'm Court.
And today, we don't have a guest, guys.
Wow.
I know it's been a while, but
strange.
It's been a whirlwind. We've had a lot of cool people on, but we decided to take this episode to just you and me, Court, because it's been a while.
Yeah.
And
we could have had Tabitha on because she watched the movie with us.
Yeah, she did.
But
this week we wanted to do one of our, like we've done before with One Battle After Another. This is going to be an episode where we just talk about one movie.
Recent release.
Recent release, and we watched it a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. It's been a
minute.
It's been a while. We probably should have recorded a little bit sooner after we watched it.
Fresher in our minds.
Yeah, but actually, Court wanted to talk about the movie Hamnet that came out in 2025, so just last year.
Who are you looking for?
William Shakespeare.
I have no talent for waiting.
The women in my family see things.
What do you see?
I see landscape, oceans,
You're having twins, my girl.
undiscovered countries. What do you wish to do, Hamnet?
I shall be one of Father's players.
Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Please! When shall we three meet again?
Our children's hearts beat. They smile, play. Never forget for a moment.
Mama!
They may be gone.
Mama!
My boy.
He lives not. You should go to London. That place in your head is now more real to you than anywhere else.
I am myself indifferent on it. Again.
Do you not wonder what is in it?
In what?
The play.
What shall I do?
Keep your heart open. Look.
To die. To sleep. Perchance to dream.
What do you see?
Was nominated for a lot and won a few as well.
Best actress, right?
Best actress, yeah. So today we're gonna go over the movie, some facts, and then just give our opinion on the film. And yeah, take it away, Court. I guess why?
Why did I want to watch this?
Yeah, why was this the one?
I saw a scene that occurs towards the end of the film, pretty much the end of the film. So I saw the spoiler and
on Instagram, or
and I was so immediately entranced and moved, and I was just like, we need.
Do you remember what the scene is?
It's the scene at the end where they're. Well, I mean, we haven't told you the plot yet, so this won't totally make sense. But they're performing Hamlet.
Oh, okay.
And the audience reaches out.
That's the scene you saw.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I was just I got chills, and I immediately was called Cole up, and I was like, Cole, we got to watch Hamnet.
Yeah, and we ended up watching it with your sibling and your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom watched it too.
Yeah.
Well, I rewatched it, I guess.
Yeah.
She had
Mom
already
had already seen it. Mom loved it. Yeah. One of the few movies that we can say that my mom approves of on this show. Yeah, well, should we? So obviously it's about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, that's maybe not obvious for some people, but.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, it's based off of a book. It's a different name, right? I'm trying to remember.
No, it's called Hamnet.
Okay, it is the same name, and it's by this author named Maggie O'Farrell.
Yeah.
And she actually co-wrote the screenplay, which is really cool, because sometimes that doesn't happen with the author of the book. She co-wrote it with the director. This movie was directed by Chloe Zhao, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
But the book came out in 2020, so during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it's relatively new. But I just like the story is cool. It's a historical drama, so it's based off of Shakespeare's life, and most notably, so his marriage to Anne Hathaway, who in the movie, she goes by Agnes, which is like another kind of an old school.
Well, I guess
version
in,
of the
in
name.
her father's will, he left he left the things to her in the name Agnes.
That's right, because a lot of people think of Anne Hathaway, and then Anyway, it's about Shakespeare's marriage to her, and then also their kids.
Yeah. So the beginning of the movie, Shakespeare, who it never establishes is William Shakespeare till like later in the film. So unless you know that going in, you can kind of just treat him like any other man in a way. Mm-hmm. Which I guess the book doesn't ever use the name William Shakespeare, which is interesting. Anyway, so the beginning of the film focuses on the courtship of Agnes by William. He encounters her in the woods. She's like this strange, wild woman who's kind of witchy, and she has this like hawk, and like the locals kind of fear her, but also like kind of like spread rumors about her that she's a witch and that her mother was a witch. And he's like in love pretty much.
Yeah, I like in the film though that they don't treat like the herbal kind of like they don't like the witchcraft.
They don't make it evil.
They don't make it evil. They actually like make it like, oh, she's like her mom actually taught her like a good skill about like horticulture and that plants have certain useful properties, and it's not that weird to think about. But because a lot of times, especially back in the 1600s when
they're demonized. Yeah,
they're demonized. But I liked how
the people demonize it. Yeah, but the film doesn't.
Yeah, which I like that. It's like coming from like oh, she's a normal person. Like you can relate to both these.
And I guess to rewind a little bit, Shakespeare is being the tutor in her household for her.
It's for her brothers. Yeah, and it's because Shakespeare's dad was in debt.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a way to pay off that debt.
Yeah, and Shakespeare's dad sucks.
And his dad made gloves for what do you call that? He made gloves for
falconry.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool because that way he can give the gift to Agnes, who likes birds. So
it starts out one of the most memorable scenes. She's like, "Tell me a story," and he tells the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. And that kind of touches on the themes of the film because that story has to do with love, has to do with loss, and how it transforms a person.
It also has to deal with his passion, too, for the English language.
Yeah.
And that, there's power in what he does, even though, like, a lot of people think he's lazy.
Yeah.
He's an artist through and through. And back then, I'm sure that was a hard thing probably to understand, especially for Shakespeare's father. So in this movie, Shakespeare is played by the actor Paul Mescal, and then Agnes is played by Jessie Buckley, and she's the one that got the Oscar, and she did an awesome job.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
She totally deserved that. And then I also really like the young actors and actresses that play the kids.
Are amazing.
They did amazing job too. Like
Hamnet.
It's really cool when you can watch a movie and the child actors are just as believable.
Like they carry it.
Yeah. So Jacob I. Jupe, he's the one that played Hamnet. Olivia Linz, she played Judith.
It might be Jacoby.
Oh, Jacoby, that's right. Yeah,
Is
it's
it
Jacoby. Yeah, it's Jacoby Jupe that played Hamnet. Olivia Lyons played Judith, and then the older daughter played by Bodie Brecknack. I don't know if that's how you pronounce
Bodie
it.
Brecknack.
It's interesting. That's an interesting,
that's a fun thing to say.
Anyway, yeah, there are a lot of great actors in this film, and the only two that I really recognized were the main two. Like a lot of these,
I didn't even recognize the leading woman. She's in something that you mentioned.
So I knew her from. She was in this really awesome British TV show called Taboo with Tom Hardy.
Oh, I like Tom Hardy.
If you guys like Tom Hardy, and it's a miniseries, it's only one season long. It's also a period piece. So if you have Hulu, go back and watch Taboo. It's really good. I like that a lot. One other mention, I just as far as actresses is I did I did.
Recognize?
I recognized Emily Watson. She plays Mary Shakespeare. So that's. Oh, it is. It's William's mother. She was in Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler.
I've never seen Punch Drunk Love.
Oh,
I know that's
really
a movie
good.
I need to see. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a really good movie. But yeah, all the other actors I hadn't really noticed before. So that was kind of cool going into it. Kind of like,
Yeah.
it kind of like when you don't recognize people, and I think it makes you like get into the story more because you're not you're not focusing on, oh, here's that person. Oh, there's that person.
Right. This film is interesting too because not only is the family kind of, you feel like kind of set apart from maybe mainstream Christian society because of the witchiness of Agnes, but also because they technically have their first child outside of the bonds of marriage. They do what they call, what do they call it? Where they like bind their wrists together or something. And
I can't remember what it's called.
It's to kind of make it legitimate so that the child is considered legitimate, but it's like kind of something where the adult male of the household has to approve it. So her brother has to give his
consent.
Consent. Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting. And then also it's interesting in the film when they are trying to comfort Agnes about this one moment. It's actually not when Hamnet. Well, spoiler, this movie deals with loss, and it deals with the loss of a child, and that is Hamnet. But earlier in the film, you think she's going to lose one of her other children because her second pregnancy, she has twins, and one of them is apparently born, like stillborn, and then is actually suddenly like awakens, and it's like really touching and stuff. But during that part, they're trying to comfort her and saying like, "Oh, your child went to heaven," and it's Shakespeare's mom trying to comfort Agnes, and she's like, "Do not try to comfort me with your faith because that church, like." What does she say? Like something took my mother or something like.
Yeah, well, she kind of lost her faith because earlier you find out that Agnes's mom died, and she was really close to her, and then this kind of stepmother figure stepped in, and throughout the film they kind of have a strained relationship, and she's always reminding her that she's not her mother and doesn't want anything to do with her, and so yeah, it's kind of interesting. A lot of these different family dynamics,
like these themes,
these themes of family,
and kind of being outsiders in a way, and
outsiders because William is he's an artist,
right,
and he's just writing words, and you're like, how can he make money doing that? And then you have Agnes, who's like just like people think she's a witch, but she's just into
she kind of
into
is,
plants,
kind of.
Yeah,
and you get the sense that she believes in something, but it's not.
But you're also like the family's so wholesome, and you're like, oh
yeah, the family's
like,
great.
They're good parents. I mean, other than William like being gone,
right? But he's trying to provide. Like, it's a complicated thing.
It's a complicated thing, which is like, it's most families. So I think that's why a lot of people can relate to the story.
So we've kind of skipped around a bit, but there's this point where Shakespeare goes and lives in London. The family's living out
in Stratford upon Avon.
Yeah. Wow. You knew exactly.
Which is, you can still go see the Shakespeare house, family home, and all that stuff, which would be cool to go there. I don't know, one day if I ever make it out there. But I think William, they realize like, oh, you need to go to London where like people are, like that's where you're going to be happy. That's where you're going to feel like you can provide. And Agnes is like surprisingly like super supportive
initially.
Yeah. But
then it just starts taking him away more and more and more, and then the plague comes, and Judith, the girl twin, is really stricken down with the plague. And Hamnet, in this really interesting scene, basically says, like, I'm going to take your place and trick death. And he, like, switches places with her in the bed and, like, tries to trick death. And then he gets the plague. She comes full circle, gets her health is fine, but then Hamnet quickly deteriorates and dies. And from that point on, the movie is really about grief. I was reading the color palette changes in the movie from that point on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really colorful up until then. And then it, like, especially when the children are, like, first introduced, it's like this colorful world. And then when Hamnet dies, all the color is, like, taken out. And I mean, they restore the color kind of at the end, but with, like,
that's pretty cool.
with the cinematography.
I guess I didn't notice that.
Yeah. One of the most interesting relationships, I think, in the film is the relationship between Mary Shakespeare and Agnes, because when Shakespeare, when it first comes out that he got her pregnant, Mary Shakespeare's like, no, like, you will not get married. She's furious. She's like, not, she doesn't want anything to do with Agnes. She comes to be like a rock to Agnes in a way. Like, you see her comfort her, you see her hold her when she's weeping. You see it. To me, that was really powerful.
Well, it's almost like she stepped in as like the mother figure because
Yeah.
her stepmom, like she hates her stepmom.
Yeah.
So that's
To me,
kinda
that
cool.
was really powerful. Yeah.
That was cool. And then there's also like this really big dynamic with Shakespeare and his father's a jerk.
Yeah.
And he eventually has to stand up for himself and say, you know, I know that you're probably, this isn't like what you wanted me, like, this isn't what you wanted me.
Well, doesn't
like,
his father like slap him or something? And
Yeah,
then he's like,
it gets physical.
you will not raise a hand on me ever again. And
Yeah, I mean, but basically from
Yeah.
that point, he just stands up for himself. Which
Yeah.
I think at that point, it's like, okay, I'm self-assured and like,
yeah.
I want to be a writer and
Yeah.
write these words that are in my head.
No, it's a really powerful movie. I mean, so basically, long story short, I feel like we've kind of taken a windy road to get here, but basically, Agnes has a lot of resentment towards Shakespeare at this point.
Yeah.
He missed the death of their son because he was in London. He didn't make it in time, and then after Hamnet's death, he spends a lot of time in London, and they kind of lose
Flounder a little bit.
Yeah, they flounder. They kind of lose touch with each other, and then she goes to town and goes to Hamlet, this play,
Yeah.
and this is the
Which-
climax of the film.
Which I didn't realize that like a lot of the stuff in this movie is pretty historically accurate. Like I didn't realize that Hamlet was written about his son. Like that actually.
Well, actually,
inspired.
I was reading about it, and that's disputed because
Really?
Hamlet is based on an older story, but
he still used the name.
but
and
he
everything.
used the name Hamlet, right?
So he must have. He still like took his life experience.
I would
and
think so.
and
I would
infused it,
Yeah,
which is still kind of cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Agnes comes to London, and
Goes
she
to the
she
Globe.
just thinks that like William like doesn't care and
and
like
it's just kind of abandoned.
just wants to focus on work to forget stuff. But then that's the beautiful part of the film. Like the climax
Yeah.
of the film is that we actually find out like no, he's been like making this prophetic art that we still like perform today about his grief, and it was a way for him to go through that grieving process.
And
like
it's so touching.
like use words and like as a way to it's almost like like a musician, like
Yeah,
if you lose someone you write a song, or if
Yeah.
you lose someone and you're a painter you paint. It's kind of like that. But
and at first she's kind of outraged. Like she's in the play, she's watching the play, she's like, why are they saying my son's name? Why are they? That is not my son. Like she's like upset, and then slowly it wins her over until you have this incredible scene where Hamlet gives this touching monologue, and Agnes reaches her hand out towards the actor, and then the whole audience responds in kind, and it pans up to the people in the upper,
in the Globe Theater,
and they all reach out, and it's like this like chill inducing moment. And to me, this film really is about grief and art and how turning to art in times of hardship can be transformative and just an incredibly touching movie.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that ending scene is like, it's powerful because you see on Agnes's face, like you watch her in real time, realize, oh, he has been using his art to grieve and then also to let go of the loss of their son. And then she also sees like how much he's been feeling and sorrow that he's been feeling like in his own way.
Yeah.
They just never communicated that to each other.
Right.
Because I don't know if they knew how, but I mean, like most marriages, right? Communication is key.
Right.
With
right.
problems like that, but that's what was so powerful at the end is you realize why Shakespeare wrote the play.
Yeah.
Because for those that don't know, in Hamlet, at the end of that play, Hamlet dies. He's poisoned. And it's all about deception with a king and anyway, I just think it's interesting. And then it's interesting that Shakespeare plays the ghost.
I know, yeah.
That's like the ghost of his father.
Well, and at first she's like,
like,
he's taking the place of our boy.
Yeah, it's like instead of Hamlet dying, it's like William dying. Anyway, it's really powerful movie. It was really good. I when we were watching it, I was like, okay, this is good. Like, okay. But then I was like, why? Like,
could you hear me crying?
I could hear you crying, yeah. But,
I was embarrassed. I was like, oh, great. Everyone in the room can hear Court crying right now, and everybody's aware.
Well,
and then Soph was like, my sibling Soph was like, I wouldn't have cried except for then I heard you crying.
Well,
So.
And that's why I was like, I get, like, people have talked about the acting, but yeah, that last scene, that's really when it, like, comes full force, and then
it transcends it.
Yeah,
itself.
and I teared up too, so don't feel bad.
Well, I was just slightly embarrassed that I'm like sobbing. It's not the loudest. You know what the loudest I've cried at a thing is?
What?
Is I sobbed at Tale of Two Cities. I went to a play.
Oh, that's
and my
cool.
grandma was with me,
Uh-huh.
and she and I were bawling, and we were so loud. Everybody kept turning and looking at us, and we couldn't stop. It was so bad.
That's interesting that it wasn't a movie; it was a play, like a live thing.
It was at Hale Center Theater in Salt Lake.
Do you think it was
in Sandy?
Do you think it was because it was like a live thing?
Oh, it's just a really touching story. Do you know the story of Tale of Two Cities?
I don't, but do you think
So
it has
touching.
to do with like actually being? Like,
well, I think I was touched by my grandma crying too.
Oh yeah,
but also
that could be a part of it.
I am a softie, but like I cried. What did we watch? Oh, I cried recently in a movie that I did not expect to cry to, which was one that I want to talk to you about. But Project Hail Mary. But
yeah, and also I like at the end that last scene. I think the music helps a lot out too with that.
Yeah,
because a lot of it, the only dialogue is actually the dialogue from the play, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, I just think it's such an interesting story to take, like stuff from Shakespeare's life, like the historical kind of stuff, and then also take the Hamnet play, and then use all of these things that most of the people know about
knowledge
that's been referenced in like media and stuff, and then take that and then use it to really tell this like
bring it to life.
Yeah, touching story about
Infuse
loss,
it with so much emotion
and family. That's what I thought was so cool. It's really creative. I want to read the book now.
I do not want to actually. I think
You think it would spoil the movie experience for you?
No, I just maybe we can cut this part out, maybe, but I'm just so emotionally raw that I don't know if I should read a book about somebody losing a child.
You think reading the book would be more than the movie?
Yeah.
Because words are more powerful than
because it
acting?
sits with you more.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I did look it up just because I was curious. Stratford upon Avon is about a day's walk from London.
Oh, really?
So if you're walking, it takes a day. But in the movie, you see William taking a horse, so it might be less than a day.
You know, I looked up some interesting facts about the movie. The final song, I think it's called On the Nature of Daylight. Is that what it's called? And it is this really touching song. Apparently, while they were filming, they put it on for like 10 hours at a time.
Wow.
And played that song. Another interesting fact that I found was the author, you know how she co-wrote it?
Mm-hmm.
Or she's listed on it. She initially was going to turn it down. She joined a Zoom call with, you said her name's Zhao, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Chloe Zhao.
Yeah. And she was totally prepared to say no. I don't want this to be made in a film. And Zhao was just so passionate about the project. Apparently, Zhao slapped the book and said, I will make this into a film. And she apparently said, Steven Spielberg, she lied. I don't know if this is a lie or what, but she said, Steven Spielberg's waiting in the wings to convince you if you won't be convinced. And I think just the sheer passion of Zhao convinced the author. And then,
it's cool that Spielberg was a producer on.
Oh, is it Spielberg?
Yeah, Spielberg. Didn't you just say that?
No, I didn't realize he was a part of it. Actually,
I was just looking. Yeah, Steven Spielberg is one of the producers.
Oh, well, so she didn't lie. What were some other interesting facts? They actually built Shakespeare's house.
Oh, they did,
and they used like recycled fabrics, and they used like wood from this old barn, this French barn that they found.
I know that the Globe, they reconstructed that. They didn't film it in the actual Globe Theater.
Yeah.
So that was kind of I don't know how expensive that would be. And then a lot of the film, like where they're in Stratford, they filmed that in Wales somewhere, like out in the country.
Yeah.
Just kind of built that part. And then there were scenes in London. They actually did shoot a lot of the, like where they go to London to see Shakespeare. A lot of that stuff was filmed in a historical neighborhood of London called Charterhouse.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah. And then,
it's a complex of buildings.
Do you remember the big gaping hole in the woods? That they like kind of treat like this portal or something.
Well,
and then it shows up again in the play as this big hole in the set.
Yeah.
Apparently they found that on location, like in the woods. They found that big hole and they were like, we've got to incorporate this. What would you rate it out of 5?
It was a really good movie. Yeah. Like the character development is really good. Acting's really good. You get lost in the story. You forget you're watching a movie type of a thing. I don't know. I might give it a 5 out of 5. It was really good. And I think it says a lot and it has a lot of emotional weight to it, and it's like a movie that I think back on. So like, and it's a movie that made me feel something. So like, I really enjoy that when a movie can make like my emotions. Like,
I think it stays.
Bring out. Yeah, it stays with you after.
I think I would give it a 5.
Yeah,
which is really rare for me.
Yeah.
So
it's good, guys. So go watch it.
Yeah, I think really good.
You can rent it now. I mean, we rented it on Amazon.
Also, it's on Peacock, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go check it out. It's great, and I can't say anything.
They did
else.
a ton of research. They looked into the herbs of that time period.
Yeah.
They hired like a official like horticulturalist and like a person who's a professional forager and trained Agnes on how to forage, and they did all this. They did the work, you guys. They really put in the extra effort, and it definitely comes through. Like every little detail is very thought out, and even down to like the small details. Did you know they incorporated blue? They like different characters had different colors, and the only one I remember is Shakespeare had blue because it symbolized him having his head in the clouds. But until the death happens, and then they take the blue out.
Yeah.
So anyway, Sorry, I could keep talking because I
No.
looked up random facts about it.
No, that's cool. I mean, the one thing I did look up like historical facts about Shakespeare, like when he died, like he had a pretty extensive will, and like he was really afraid of grave robbers, like
really?
people like messing with his like remains. And so he was buried in the church in Stratford, and on his like little headstone there, it basically says like whoever messes with my remains, like I'll put a curse on you.
Really?
Like I'll come and haunt you. It says something
Interesting.
similar to that.
It's so interesting. Yeah.
And then I kind of feel bad for so the other twin Judith.
Yeah.
Later in life, she met a man
Oh no.
that made wine, and they also had intercourse out of wedlock, and which is kind of funny because in like William kind of changed the will and like made it so she didn't get as much stuff.
Oh, because of that?
Yeah, and it seemed like he didn't like
The guy.
at all, which is funny. So most like everything went to the oldest daughter, Susanna.
Interesting.
Like everything, like the house, like
Wow.
Shakespeare House, and like almost all of his wealth went to her, and she married a doctor. So I'm like,
he was all for that.
So I'm like, oh, I bet, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my daughter married a doctor, and then my other daughter married this wine maker. Kind of sad. It's like
kind of interesting.
kind of Judith kind of got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
On some of that stuff. So yeah, and it also makes me just I want to go read like a biography on Shakespeare.
That
now.
would be cool.
But the thing is, like,
We don't know a lot.
Don't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, this movie works and the book works.
Yeah.
Because you can have a lot of
creative
license to kind of work around that, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah. Apparently, how do you say the director's name again?
Chloe Zhao. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Apparently came to a part in the process of creating it that she was really stuck. And so she asked the author, what music did you listen to while you were writing? And then started to listen to that music, and it helped her become unstuck. So that's
cool.
So music was a big part. Yeah, well, I think we've said pretty much what we've set out to say. I mean, it was a great film. We both gave it 5s. That's really high for me.
Yeah.
That's high for you. I mean, you don't give 5s that often.
Unless it's really good.
Yeah. So,
but
be prepared to cry.
So thanks again, guys, for listening to the podcast. Make sure to share it with a friend. I know we haven't really told you guys what to do in a while, but it really does help if you guys share it with a friend. And you can even we just barely put the podcast
on
YouTube, so you can subscribe to us on YouTube. But we do have more guests lined up that we're excited about. We're gonna try to start getting more local people on, which we need to represent Idaho
and Utah maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.